Well, one of our gCADPlus users has received a file, a zip file from a group of architects, including a base plan for a future project that they will become involved in. And the files are zipped up, but if we unzip them, they contain a whole range of AutoCAD DWG files. So the sensible approach is to put all of the DWG files and any other supporting information into one particular folder, and I've put it on the G drive, my server, and called it DWG-in, and I've set up another folder called DXFout, and we're going to use the Teigh file converter to convert all of the drawing files in this folder into a DXF file. We've decided to use AutoCAD 2007 DXF because we know that's a very stable version of the DXF file format. And we're going to click Start now, and that should convert all of the files that are in that folder and put them all into the output folder as DXF, and we should be able to use those and bring those into the gCADPlus environment. Well, here we are in the Windows Explorer, and the architect was using ArchiCAD, so the DW files that he's given our user are all listed here. And if we go back into DXFout, here are the DXF files, so we should now start gCADPlus and bring the files in. There are a couple of different versions of proposed plan. They're the largest of them, so we'd expect, not quite sure, those two should have the most information in them, but whether we want an existing floor plan or conditions, we'll have to see when we get into the gCADPlus environment. Well, we're now in the gCADPlus environment, so let's go File and New, and we'll just take a default drawing, and then we'll say File, DXF Tools. We're going to bring a DXF file in. Now notice the file size here. I'll just shorten that a little. There are a whole lot of DXF files, very small, 190 kilobytes. This one here, proposed plan 01_0 and then proposed plan 02, are very similar in size, not quite sure, but they're 1.7 megabytes in size, so they're likely to be the two that we want to work with in this particular case. So I'm going to open up both of those in a moment and look at them, but let me just show you what happens when I pick up this tiny DXF drawing. It opens straight into a layer, existing conditions with site. But if we go into the model and then zoom extents, all we get is one polyline, not so spell. It's an image that's come across, and we haven't been given that image. So I imagine it's perhaps a Google Earth image. We should be able to go into Format and Images, and it's a member badge, black, and that's in fact an image of the Australian Institute of Architects. So that's not what we're after. So let's close this drawing and we won't save it. Now let's try again. We'll start with our default drawing and File, DXF in, and we're after, this is the first of our larger ones. So we'll open it up, and this time we have two layers but nothing in either of them. It's often worthwhile zooming extents there just to make sure that there's nothing outside of the page. But we come into the model and then zoom extents, and we do have, I think, what we're after, a base plan. So let me just zoom in. What I'm going to do is change my view to white and see if we can pick up. There's a pergola over here, some steps up, a garden bed there, and this area at the top is a grassed area. These symbols that are here have been exploded or broken up. They're the sort of symbols that often come from a surveyor, and again that one has been broken up. Good idea to just check the blocks that are in the drawing, and looking to see whether the delete button comes up as I scroll through them. So there are quite a lot of files in this drawing that aren't being used and just clutter things up. And in the new version of gCADPlus, we can go to Tools and purge unused objects out. That would have reduced the file size substantially, I hope. And now I can save that drawing and we can pass it on to our designers, who can now hopefully start working on this drawing. I'll open the other DXF file in a moment and send both off because they may well be different. One's labelled O1 and one's labelled O2. So that in a nutshell is how you fairly seamlessly convert drawings from one CAD package into something that gCADPlus can work with.